Imagine sitting in a busy restaurant where everyone is whispering, rolling their eyes and ignoring a woman who seems lost, misunderstood, and alone, until one quiet waitress steps forward and speaks words no one expected. What happened next shocked the entire place and changed both of their lives forever. If you love emotional stories that touch your heart, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe right now because you won't want to miss this journey. The late afternoon sun cast a golden glow across the windows of La Belle Maison, a small but elegant restaurant nestled in the heart of the city, where waiters hurried between tables balancing trays of food. The hum of conversation mingled with the clink of glasses, and the air carried the scent of roasted garlic and freshly baked bread. Yet amidst the warmth and laughter, one table stood out, where a woman sat alone, impeccably dressed in a designer suit that seemed to whisper of wealth and power, her long, black hair pinned neatly, her eyes scanning the room with both curiosity and sadness. And though her appearance commanded respect, the moment she opened her mouth to speak, confusion rippled through the restaurant, for she spoke softly in Japanese, words that danced gracefully but fell flat on ears that did not understand. And soon murmurs began to rise from nearby diners, some whispering, "What is she saying?" while others shook their heads dismissively, assuming she was being difficult or perhaps rude. And the staff, though well-meaning, grew increasingly flustered as they tried to communicate with her, repeating louder and louder in English as though volume could bridge the language gap. Yet the woman only looked down, frustration evident in the tightening of her jaw, her elegant hands gripping the edge of the table as she tried once more, her voice firmer now, almost pleading yet still not understood. And in those moments the isolation she felt was painted across her face for all to see, a loneliness that cut deeper than the barrier of words. Because it was not just about ordering food. It was about being seen, being acknowledged, being treated as human. And around her the air grew heavy with judgment, a man at the next table rolling his eyes muttering, "Why doesn't she just learn English?" While another woman whispered to her friend, "Probably showing off her money thinking she's better than us." And as laughter rippled, the millionaire Japanese woman, though she never revealed her name to them, felt the sting of being a stranger in a room full of people who looked at her but did not see her. And though her wealth could buy her anything, mansions, luxury cars, jewelry, it could not buy her understanding in this foreign place, where every second she sat in silence she felt smaller, more invisible, and the weight of being alone in a world that could not hear her pressed upon her shoulders. Until at last, a small figure stepped forward from the corner of the room. Not a manager or a maitre d', but a young waitress, her apron slightly wrinkled, her hair pulled back into a simple ponytail, eyes kind and observant. Someone who most customers overlooked, and yet in that moment, she noticed the woman's struggle, the tears brimming though carefully hidden behind a composed facade, and something in the waitress's heart stirred, because she too knew what it was to be dismissed, to be underestimated, to be treated as though her voice didn't matter. And before fear could stop her, she took a deep breath, walked over to the table, and with a gentle bow she spoke softly, hesitantly at first in Japanese. "Sumimasen, watashi wa tetsudai mashuka." "Excuse me, may I help you?" And instantly the millionaire's head lifted, her eyes widening in disbelief, her breath catching as though she had been wandering lost in a desert and had just found water. And then her face softened into something fragile yet luminous, relief, gratitude, a spark of hope. Because for the first time since she walked into that restaurant, someone heard her, truly heard her. And the murmur of the crowd faded into silence. Every diner now staring, shocked at the sound of Japanese flowing from the lips of the waitress they had ignored all night. And as the two women began to converse, the millionaire's words tumbled out in a rush, a mixture of polite thanks and desperate relief, explaining what she had been trying to ask, that she was allergic to certain ingredients and wanted to ensure her meal was safe, that she had been traveling alone for weeks and felt isolated by the language barrier, that sometimes all she wished for was a simple conversation where she didn't feel invisible. And as the waitress listened, nodding, translating her needs to the kitchen with confidence, she realized how much this moment mattered, how a simple act of kindness could shift the weight of loneliness, How speaking someone's language was not just about words but about connection, respect, humanity, and the millionaire, who had once seemed untouchable and aloof to those around her, was now simply a woman, vulnerable, tired, yearning for understanding, and, with each exchange in Japanese, her face lit up more, her shoulders relaxed, her laughter bubbled quietly, genuine and unguarded, and the entire restaurant watched in silence, their earlier whispers now replaced with shame and awe, realizing that the woman they had judged so quickly was not arrogant, but isolated, and the waitress they had barely noticed was now the bridge that connected two worlds, reminding everyone that kindness needs no translation, and as Chapter 1 closes, the bond between the wealthy Japanese woman and the humble waitress has only just begun, yet already something has shifted forever in both of their lives. From that evening onward, something unexpected blossomed between the millionaire Japanese woman, whose name was revealed as Aiko, and the waitress Hana, who had been working double shifts just to support her sick mother at home. Aiko returned to the restaurant often, not for the food but for the rare comfort of being understood, and each time, Hana greeted her warmly in Japanese, their conversations stretching from simple menus to dreams, struggles, and laughter. The bond grew deeper, and Aiko learned of Hana's hardships, her sacrifices, her humility, and her quiet strength. And one night, Aiko gently placed an envelope on the table, offering Hana a scholarship to study languages and hospitality abroad. Insisting that the world needed her gift, Hana's eyes filled with tears, overwhelmed by a kindness she never imagined, while the diners who once judged Aiko watched in silence, realizing they had misjudged both women. In that restaurant, two souls from different worlds had found each other, one carrying wealth but aching for connection, the other carrying burdens but rich in empathy. Their story was no longer about language barriers, but about how compassion could turn strangers into family. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more heartfelt stories that touch the soul.